And we are live and direct on Creative Life with your girl Shami Shamrock, and today we talk to Mr. Matthew Lenting all the way from the city of Mitchell's Plain, and he's going to be telling us a little bit about what he does and also tell us about the music he makes and the videos he takes. So Matthew, please give us a little bit of an introduction. Tell us who you are, what you do. Yeah, take it away.
Boy, thank you very much. Shami, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. So my name is Matthew. I'm currently doing videography and photography, but it all stemmed kind of from my love for music, and it's just my affiliation for art as a whole. And how it started was I would attend rehearsals with friends who also are musicians, and from that time I realized the jam aspect of music kind of there's a big part of it missed in the rehearsal and the jam sessions, which is not like the shows that everybody attends. And then I started noticing nobody films that, nobody's picking that up. Nobody's kind of experiencing that, because that kind of cultures, it's experienced within the small circles that band or whatever happens. I find it with dances the same, with ciphers and like that. Jams are so important, and that just led me to start taking short clips with my phone at rehearsals. And I just then started editing also on my own, and it just started feeling important to my mind. It started feeling as if what I'm doing, I'm enjoying it myself, like I'm enjoying the content that I'm shooting. And that started making me think maybe this is what musicians also, or just people like me also enjoy. And then that just kept going on, and I started editing more. And another thing that influenced me was my brother shoots video, and I still use his equipment. So he influenced me in a way where some of the gigs I had, he would come around and film and document, and that felt also it just felt important when I saw the footage afterwards. It's like, this feels useful, man, and especially with the age of social media and all this, it just felt important, and like in my mind it should have been, or it should be part of any artist or any creator's way forward, is for them to consider what they're putting out there in a way. And someone who's video and capturing something, they're documenting a moment in your life. So it just all started feeling important. Anyway, I forgot your question, but that's how I forgot your question.
I like
but
that.
That's just kind of a basis of my interest in video and photo work, and why I'm still doing it, because it feels important and it feels right.
I really like how you explain that, because we tend to separate the art from a performance and the rehearsal. Like the rehearsal should be the performance, and I really like that you brought that up, because if you're not going to practice it the way you're going to perform it on the day, then it's not going to, it's not going to come out the way you wanted. And just because you're on stage doesn't mean it's going to be any different to how you are. All that really changes is the fact that it's now being done in front of people. But I think the artistic performance aspect is a very important thing, and I like that you like to record in documentary style. I mean, I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've filmed, and I feel like I'm there, and I love the magic of that. It makes me feel like I'm chilling with you guys, watching the rehearsal, and enjoying the music. And I think that's a really interesting and important part of the process. And this brings me to my next question, which is, as an artist, as a creative, for me personally, I don't always see the end product when I'm starting it. But for you, do you see the end before you start the project, or do you let it flow naturally to where it's going to end? What is your way?
I generally don't see the end. So at the start of any project, it feels very chaotic. it feels like I don't know what I'm doing, and always, like, as much as I'm doing any video photo work, it feels like I don't know what I'm doing when I start, and it feels overwhelming, and like I can't see the end of it at all actually at the beginning. And then through the process, I've learned now that editing is actually one of my favorite, after the process of filming and the whole production. I love editing, and it's like putting a puzzle together, man. I'm realizing it's like, because at the start you have so many images, and then you kind of I have to decide where to place these images, and at the end of it kind of should flow in a way. So that just the whole process of taking something chaotic, that seems chaotic and unfinished, and like there's no end to it, that I know going into it, I know that I'm capable of finding a story, and I've done it before in a way, so like I know that I'm capable. So as daunting as it seems, like, you know, that I can't see what is this going to be, I'm trusting in the sense that I can find a story in everything I shot, in all the footage that I'm faced with. So I don't see the end. Okay. I kind of see it developing. I see mistakes I make also as I edit and shoot or whatever. I find use in it. So like there's sometimes blurry images or blurry parts to a video that I use, and I never planned for that, you know. But it just seems like going into maybe the next image, it seems like works out. So like in some sense, I kind of hope I don't see the complete project in the start, to avail more of those kind of moments of mistakes in the sense, so that I can see, this works. Whereas if I had a plan in mind, I'm going to compare everything to that plan, and then all of my decisions seem wrong in a sense. I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. So I don't.
Creative process in a sense that way.
Yes. Yes. Like, it's not that the creative process is just this video. It's like all these micro decisions I'm making, you know, that all those must be creative, you know, in the moment. So I don't see the big picture. I don't see the picture in the start. I kind of see it develop as I go.
And I think that is true to your documentary style. It's raw and it's authentic. And I think too many times we want to give off the polished product, the end product. This is now, but we don't give credit to the process. And I think as creatives, we are vulnerable to the process, and sometimes it gets scary to be in that vulnerable position, whether you are a singer, an artist in, design, graphic, or if you are a dancer. The process is sometimes the most daunting part, and we get very defensive in that process. So we don't always want to share with people. So it's really nice for me to hear from your side that you embrace that. And I think it's all part and parcel of the process, which is what makes a creative life. You love it. And I think, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. So for people No, go.
Just one point. I also think it's synonymous to like life in general, man. Like the start of a project and the end of a project for me, I'm realizing how the toughness in having it completed, like it's a struggle, you know, to see it to the end and then it's completed. And in the same way, that's like life. The way you heading towards wherever, it's a struggle, like your challenges and whatever. It is tough, and you have to embrace those tough moments. You have to find a way and not, like as you say, get defensive. And you know, those defensive moments, and you get offended by things, and like it's important to embrace those parts, because that eventually gives your character kind of meaning, and it gives your character just your whole product. It makes sense.
I 100% agree. Yeah. I totally agree. And I think I feel like you're almost speaking to me in that, because I think that's something I definitely struggle with. And I think that many of us as artists struggle with that embracing of it. But then we find those perfect moments where we are aligned and everything just like, and you just accept and you flow, and then you reach your next obstacle, and then you're like, no, wait, this is, it's a constant ebb and flow of things. And this is what makes it creative. It's constantly working on yourself. And I think that's why I really want as many people like in the world to experience some type of creative process, because that makes you so humble. It really opens up your mind and your spirit to things that don't necessarily on a daily basis get exposed to you, if I could say it that way. And the other question I wanted to ask you, Matthew, was when people want to do a video, what would you advise someone that's starting? Like, what would you advise if you had 5 tips that you could give them from your process and your experience? What would those tips be?
Okay, the first may not be 5, no, it may be less than.
Okay, no worries.
I would think your camera, I would say your camera is an extension of your eye. I'm realizing that. So, like how you pay attention just in general in life, that to me, I'm realizing that becomes my style in essence. So the way I operate the camera, it's in some sense like where I point it, where I'm focusing. It's really just where my eye, where I'm wanting to focus. So my attention behind the camera is really dependent on how I discipline my natural vision, in a sense. So natural discipline how I discipline myself in daily life, keeping clean or just natural discipline and paying attention and listening to other people. That kind of disciplines me to handle the camera in the way that I want it to, because I kind of have a hold of my vision. Then the way I handle the camera and then editing afterwards, I feel a bit more in control. So it's a good tip. It's not a tool that makes your style. It's not the camera that makes whatever it is you're trying to put out there. It's actually your eye, your heart, it's coming from you, and then it helps. The attention helps you get it onto these digital platforms. That's one thing I would say. And then putting a lot of my tips would come from, because I really like much of my, I would say, skill behind a camera. I attribute it to how well I'm holding myself in life. So a lot of what I'm saying, it may sound deep, but it's not. Like, it's just the basics on what I'm trying to go by. So like, I don't have a lot of specific tips where to do with the camera. It's a bit tough. One of the things that helped me, my brother, as I said, my brother introduced me to photography, and he taught me a bit about ISO, like operating the camera on manual mode. Before that, I was on automatic a lot of the time, just probably trying to just hope for a clear shot all the time.
Yeah, that zoom is mother.
So like,
I get it.
Yeah, it's true. So like, as soon as I moved to shooting manual, I felt a bit more in control, because now you're playing with the light. And I'm realizing and that got me thinking about how light is important in shooting video or photo. And so when I started shooting in manual, you're kind of paying attention to little shades and like little differences in light in what you're looking at. And it helps me direct my focus in a way.
Yes.
So like, light sensitivity is something that is also, that's another tip that I would advise.
Knowing where your light is, the light.
Knowing where it's coming from, how it's surrounding, whatever you're shooting. That's vital. I think that would be the basis of like any tips, I would say.
I think even though you might think that what you're saying is abstract, like I'm envisioning everything that you're saying and I'm picturing it. Just also from, working in film and working in an industry that relies on being shot with a camera, knowing where the light is. Like sometimes the videographer or the director or the cameraman, they'll ask you to do things and you don't understand why they're making you stand on this specific spot. and you don't understand why the shoot needs to happen at this specific time because the sun is here. Like, there's so many things that go into it, so many variables that you as a videographer has to take into consideration that me, being maybe the artist on the other side, doesn't understand. So I think this is really valuable insight that you're giving, because maybe dancers that are listening to the show right now, understand things that they never understood. So I appreciate that you gave us a little bit of your magic on that, Matthew. And then just the final thing that I want to ask you is, if anyone wants to book your services or get in touch with you, can you give us a contact and your social media handles where people can follow you and just directly contact you?
Okay, for bookings, people can get in touch with me at thehoodshed@gmail.com. So that's THEHOODSHED@gmail.com. And then I'm also reachable on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp business number is 076-272-6898. And then social media handles is the same across all channels, which is at The Hood Shed.
Okay. Yay! Okay, awesome, guys. So if you want to get in contact with Matthew, if you want to know a little bit more about what he's doing, the projects that he's running, how you can get involved, booking him, please make sure to contact him on either of those contactable contacts and reach out to him on social media. Let's connect. Let's encourage one another, and let's start collaborating and creating things that will impact and make a difference in the lives of other people. So thank you so much, Matthew, for your time today. That's our time on A Creative Life with me, Shami Shamrock. I'm so grateful that you are the second person that has been interviewed on the show, and I can't wait to have you here again. So it's not goodbye, it's definitely till later. All right. Thank you so much, Matthew. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.